permission. Let me try again.
Oh,
Oh shit. Oh, damn. All right.
Okay.
Did everyone hear that woman?
Yeah, she's like recording. That sounded, I don't know, the way it sounded, she sounds like a, you know what happened with people? Okay, you know what? No, since we're recording now, we'll say it. I'm not gonna say it. Let's just continue.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So, brain. Okay, primitive brain. You should know that. So, prosencephalon, pro meaning like kind of before, or like top or anything. Meso is usually middle. So, mesencephalon is midbrain, and it stays the same. So that one's easy. And then the rhombencephalon is like the rest of it, like this huge ass spinal cord and everything. Oh, actually, all the way up here to the
So
spinal
she
cord.
does want us to know the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, rhombencephalon? Because I really thought she did say that we don't technically have to know those, but technically what they go into. I think that's what I remember.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of makes you need to know it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's kind of easy to remember though.
Yeah,
like
I
there's a
didn't know.
lot. There's a lot of easy ways. Like for prosencephalon, it's gonna sound kind of stupid, but like when I think of like a pro, I think of like a hitman, and hitmen they don't tell on each other, and they don't. And so a pro doesn't tell or die, and mesencephalon is the midbrain, so it's just MM. That. And then for rhombencephalon, I say that the rhombencephalon it met my spinal cord, so met my spinal cord.
Nice.
Got it.
That was good.
Okay.
Cool.
So with that technique, it's like you can memorize it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm always just like, okay, fine. Like I'll remember the first two, and then I'll make a trick for like the rest.
Yeah.
So then I was saying, so telencephalon is just the first one. Telencephalon is the major one. The cerebrum is the major part of your brain. Diencephalon has all of the thalamus stuff. So the hypothalamus is like what's actually controlling all of the. So these are all like glands and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then mesencephalon, those ones stay the same too. And that's the midbrain. So it is the yellow one. And then it moves up right here. And then so these ones, I was saying, so these are all alphabetical order after this. So telencephalon, diencephalon, then mesencephalon, metencephalon, and then myelencephalon. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then when you see it too, the pons and cerebellum, they kind of go together. Yeah, can we see them? Not really. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. They're just, we'll see. But yeah, and then the myelencephalon is the medulla. It'll be easier when you kind of see it, because they all kind of like go down and like, I don't know, in the shape of the brain. That's the brain. Okay, and then the spinal cord. So yeah. Okay, development. I don't think this matters that much, but yeah.
Yeah.
Primitive,
it wasn't even on the
less
pictures.
primitive, born. So yeah. Okay, so it's just telling you again. So the telencephalon is the entire cerebrum. Metencephalon was the pons. So the pons are these ones, and I think there's like kind of two on each side, and then the cerebellum. Then the myelencephalon, the medulla oblongata, is just another kind of circular structure right under the pons.
Is the medulla oblongata, is that part of the spinal cord or midbrain? Or is the spinal cord
no, this is gonna be the rhombencephalon, I'm sure, right? Let's double check. Yes. Yeah, rhombencephalon. So yeah, so when you go further down, like you're still getting different parts. Like this is one part, and then these are both one part, but they're both part of the metencephalon. But at least they're in like one line, kind of. So yeah. And then the medulla oblongata is right here, and then down here is like the spinal cord. And then let's see. So the others have diencephalon. Like you kind of think like it's paired. So it's it's just all of the thalamus stuff. So they're all right here. So the thalamus and the hypothalamus around here, thalamus here. And the pineal gland. The pineal gland actually secretes the hormones, but we'll talk about it more later. The mesencephalon is the superior and inferior colliculi. So you're supposed to know that. And we'll see like better pictures of it, but yeah, they look like that right under the pineal gland. So superior, inferior. Yeah.
Which one's superior?
Superior means upper, so that one, and
Okay.
then inferior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they look like two little weird gross things. So yeah. And then and then this is the cerebral aqueduct. And then what is in the cerebral aqueduct?
Cerebral spinal fluid?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So those are all of the parts. And you could just kind of review them, but they're usually kind of like at least located in like a similar area and stuff. So yeah.
So like if we see on the quiz that it says like probably like displays the brain like that, then she'll probably ask us like, hey, where's like certain parts, like the only ones from the organization of it, right?
I feel like she probably won't give you an image. Well, she could give you an image that like doesn't have you label it. Let's just see what the pictures are at the end.
Like,
no. Oh wait, no, that's labeled.
yeah,
so
not
no,
the right one anyway. Okay.
So the last ones, she'll give you those, and then she'll want you to label like the actual parts of the brain or like the kind of motor and sensory parts. So yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's okay. Okay. So yes. Okay. So then gray matter. So it's gray versus white matter. I always remember it just because they're myelinated, and we know like the myelin sheaths are white. So that's what makes it white matter. Yeah, it's fatty and lipids. So that's why it's white matter.
Got it.
So yeah, and yeah, so those are axons, myelinated axons. So you can see the tracks. The tracks are like, yes, all of the little fibers, or also called bundles. So that's in the white matter. And then the gray matter is all around, and it's gray because it has all of these like cell bodies in it that kind of like make it darker. And then it also has the dendrites. And then what do dendrites do?
Send a or else wait, they receive the signal.
Yes, they receive the signal.
The axons send signals.
Yeah, so then you have like all of these nerves. So these are dendrites, and then axons. I don't even myelin. I don't know. Yeah, so it's sending a signal to the brain, probably to go ahead and let it like process whatever signal, and then like send one out. So yeah. Okay. So then in the gray matter, you have two different parts. So the cortex and the nuclei. So the cortex is an outer layer, and then nuclei, like a nucleus, is like inside the cell. So that's like the deeper parts of it. So yeah, nuclei, gray matter, and cortex.
Got it.
Cool. Okay. So it is protected by the skull, meninges, cerebral spinal fluid, and the blood-brain barrier. So we'll see this. So this is the meninges. In EMT, we remember it. It's called the pad. But that's from inner to outer. So the right, yeah, okay. I'm gonna start from there because the pia mater, I feel like, or pia mater, I don't know, whatever. Nearly. Meaning tender mother. I don't know. I kind of remember that one. Pia mater is areolar connective tissue. It's like form fitting. It's like soft. So yeah, soft, like covering the brain.
So I just want to make sure, because I know like where the arrow pointing is, like it looks like in that little central, like, or like that little canal thing, but it's like basically what it's basically the gray matter of it, right? If that makes sense.
Honestly, no. Now I think that you're right, and I think it's just like this outer portion. Because it says areolar connective tissue and it's form fitting. So,
okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I was like, is it that, or is it like?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that was fucking great, because I was like, I guess it's synonymous with gray matter, but it is not. Okay, cool. So yeah, so it has this super soft form fitting layer. I think that you see that when you dissect the brain too, because it has like a layer that does not want to separate.
So it's form fitting just because like it's able, like, since the gray matter forms that like how do I say it? It formed that tunnel. Yeah. So then basically the areolar connective tissue like fitted in, right? Like that's how it works.
Or also it's just like super attached to the brain. Like, yeah, when you dissect it too, it's just like a tougher kind of material, and like you have to kind of peel it away.
Okay.
So it's just very attached.
No problem. Thank you.
So yeah, so pia mater, and then arachnoid space. So arachnoid, like an arachnid, so spider web kind of stuff. So it's a web of collagen and elastic fibers or trabeculae. So a web of fibers is probably all you will need to know, but yeah, you can know collagen and elastic. And the subarachnoid space, so this is subarachnoid space, is in between all of this. It contains cerebral spinal fluid. So let me see, arachnoid. Okay, so arachnoid is this layer and it has all of these fibers attached. So yeah.
Where was the subarachnoid space again? Sorry. I know. You keep going back.
Subarachnoid is just in between all of the fibers. So the fibers like have all of this space in between them. And it's filled with cerebral spinal fluid, which is also, so that was the part of protection. So like if you have all this fluid in here, like, and you like hit something on your head, like it just kind of like reverberates and it's like less disruptive.
Thank you.
Okay. And then one more is the duramater. So there's two layers, periosteal and meningeal layer. So what does periosteal mean?
Peri is like on top. Well, at least that's
or around.
Yeah.
And then osteal.
Osteal
around the bone.
Around the bone, yeah.
Yeah. So periosteal layer, so it has one layer that's like right by the bone here. And then the meningeal layer by the meninges, which are like this kind of stuff. They're all meninges, but you know, this is the outermost layer. So yeah, so the more inner layer is the meninges.
But then just in that case, like the meningeal layer is below the periosteal layer, right? That's what we just want to know in this picture. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So periosteal and meningeal. This says dural septa, dural venous sinus. Let's see if we see that anywhere. Nope.
Like she said, it goes to the left, like it forms that like space, like to the left.
Oh, yeah, I think that we see it in a second. Okay, dural venous sinus. Oh, okay. So this is a periosteal layer, and then this is the meningeal layer. Okay. So through the meningeal layer, it allows the sinus to come through.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's fun to know. Sure, you'll be okay though, just knowing them. And yeah, one's on top and one's on bottom. Yep. And it would make sense that the sinuses can go through the more bottom layer. Yes. So that is the pad. Yes. Okay. And that makes sense too, because it is protection and everything. Okay.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. So then also protection and support the ventricles. And so these are like all of these cavities containing cerebral spinal fluid. So you have two lateral ventricles. And then, yeah, so those ones are on either hemisphere of the brain. And then the third ventricle and the awareness. Third ventricle is this one in the middle. Okay. So yeah, third, there's two lateral, and then there's a third, and then this one will be the fourth down here.
So then is it possible she could ask like, okay, where's the lateral ventricle? And she does like that patterns, like how I think we saw before. So since it's in the cerebrum, the lateral ventricles are in the cerebrum, which is also part of the telencephalon.
Oh, that was great, but I don't know if she'll ask something that that's kind of complex about it. She might just ask like, I think you just added a lot in there, which was good. Yeah, maybe which ventricles are like maybe uppermost, but she won't give you a picture because there's no picture on here. But yeah, just kind of know where it is. So yeah, so these are the lateral ventricles are on like two sides, and then the third ventricle is in the middle, and the diencephalon. So this one is also where your thalamus is going to be, and the hypothalamus and epithalamus.
The third ventricle.
We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. So this is like all of that kind of stuff. This is, I think this is the pineal gland. No, wait, this one's a pineal gland. But yeah, so this is all like thalamus hormone stuff right in the middle.
Okay.
So third ventricle is associated with the diencephalon.
Got it.
Okay. And then there's a fourth ventricle that goes down, and it has, yes, I don't know, more cerebral spinal fluid than just going between the brainstem and the cerebellum. Yeah. This is cerebellum, and then this is your whole brainstem. So yeah. And yeah, so it could like drain and everything like that. Okay. more cerebral spinal fluid, ventricles, and the subarachnoid space. So yeah, so it goes through all these ventricles. This is the fourth ventricle here. This would be the third. There's also ventricles up here. So it can go down and then it could go around. Yeah. And just like through the subarachnoid space, which is just all around the brain.
Wait, can you do that pattern again, or like just show it off again one more time?
Yeah, so it doesn't really show the lateral ventricles are here, but like these arrows are coming from like the third ventricle. This one is like coming through the fourth ventricle, and then it's able to just circulate, like it just circulates around the brain. Like I don't know necessarily the pattern, but you have your arachnoid space that we talked about, and then we can look at it again, and that's just all around. Well, yeah, this just goes all the way around your brain. Like
okay.
Between your skull and like the very topmost part of your brain, like the gray matter, you have cerebral spinal fluid all around.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
So that's for cushioning, buoyancy, and it transports nutrients and waste. So the cerebral spinal fluid is like kind of cleansing everything too as it passes through. Okay. So the choroid plexus is this thing, and it produces the cerebral spinal fluid. These are ependymal cells that we saw. So those were epi. I was like, oh, it's like outside. So these are on the outside of the cavity. This is the cavity of the ventricle. So this is going into a ventricle, which were these things. So you have choroid plexus, plexi all around. Okay. In each ventricle, and they drain into arachnoid villi and into the dura venous sinus. Whatever. I don't necessarily know. Yeah, at some point it'll go all the way around. Oh wait, let's see. What is this? Okay, this here. Yeah, because it just produces it. So I'm sure it's just saying it'll go through those things. The dural venous sinus.
Yeah, I know she would talk to me about that. Actually, I had gone to her office hours about those little things, and I think that's what it is.
Okay. Or about the choroid plexus or the sinuses?
The sinus, like how you explain it.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, I don't think that it comes up too much in her tests, but we'll see, because that one should be very much so like what you would see for your test.
Got it.
Yeah, that one's kind of like not elaborated on enough. Okay, and then also there's the blood-brain barrier. So so these are astrocytes again, and then what do astrocytes do?
They are basically well, they're the little starbursts. They separate, right? Filter,
separate. So blood and neurons separate. What? Okay, what? I don't know what it wants me to do with that information. What? Okay, that's fine. Anyway, they're basically filtering. So it helps prevent neuron exposure to harmful substances. So it's making sure that all this blood is like safe. Yeah, no drugs, waste, or like incorrect concentrations. Astrocytes selectively allow certain substances to cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, and then lipid-soluble substance freely pass through the barrier. So, because also capillaries, they allow for like diffusion. These are simple squamous epithelial cells. So like, if there was nothing around it, they would just be able to diffuse stuff across pretty easily. But this is just covering it all so that it's filtered. Okay, so the telencephalon is the cerebrum. So that is like the brain that you think of. It's this. So not including this one. This one's the cerebellum, and then the pons, and then the medulla oblongata, and then the brainstem. Okay. So yes, 85% of the brain, responsible for actual like consciousness, thought process, complex functions. Intellect, reasoning, judgment, motor and visual, auditory, senses, and movement. Yeah, everything else is like cerebellum is like fine tuning, pons is something, medulla oblongata is also something, but yeah, no like complex thinking or processing really. Okay. So yeah, so you have fissures. So you have the longitudinal fissure that goes long ways across the brain through the top. And then gyruses versus sulcus, like if you're sulking, I feel like you're like down. So yeah, so they're all sulking. And then gyri are the raised parts. Okay. And then so you have like the major like longitudinal fissure, and then you also have this central sulcus, which is kind of splitting the prefrontal kind of stuff. And I don't know what I would even call this. I don't know, front and back.
So that blue part, so I asked you, that is the occipital.
This one is not occipital.
No, no, the back part. I mean, like the green and blue, that part. Yeah, those are all.
And this whole part, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes. So yes. Yep. There's So the green one, no, let's do a different one. The yellow one. What is that pointing to?
Oh my god.
I know, I picked like the hardest one to be honest. Yeah.
I think that should be the temporal,
Yes.
because it highlights how she showed me and how we drew it, like so I could separate it was you can circle everything up to that like little circle in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, go down, but don't do that dark green. That dark green is different, she said.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Temporal. So that's the temporal.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Yes. Okay, yeah. So then this one, the red.
Parietal.
Yes. Oh shit.
It's like
parietal. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So yes, and then the green.
That should be the frontal lobe.
Yeah. Okay, and then you said occipital.
So we do have to know that and where that line is, where it should be the insula, like where you have the lateral sulcus, that's the lateral sulcus, or where is it pointed to directly if you can't help?
The lateral sulcus, yeah, it's like opening up the lateral sulcus in this picture. So it's like this line that's just gonna go like this if it weren't separated. But they like pulled it open, so they put it
so
into.
it's right there. Okay.
Yeah. We'll probably see it before they pulled it apart. But yeah, so this is all like separated into the frontal and the parietal layer. The frontal and parietal lobes. So the like between these is gonna separate the precentral gyrus and the postcentral gyrus, which is right here. So everything that is like precentral in the frontal region is motor. So I kind of think of it like I like put my hands out in front of me and I'm like, okay, yeah. So the front part is motor, and then all of the back is like sensory. And it kind of extends to the spinal cord too, because I'm like, oh, sure, like shivers up your spine kind of thing. So like towards the back of your body. So this is sensory and motor. So
okay.
Motor. Okay. And separated by the central sulcus. So yes, so precentral, this is a primary motor cortex, is all of the blue, and then primary sensory cortex.
Wait, do that
so
one
exactly
time.
where it's split in half. Huh? Repeat
Can
it?
you say that one time?
Yeah. So this is a precentral gyrus. So this is the central sulcus. Yeah. And then it separates the precentral gyrus and the postcentral. So pre as in before. So it's like towards the front of your anterior, yes.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
Postcentral. Yes. So motor is in the front, motor is anterior, and sensory is posterior.
Got it.
Okay, so the lobes. Yes, we did that. Okay, yeah. So here's the lateral sulcus for you. So
okay.
just all the way down. central sulcus in between pre and post central gyri. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The lobes. Okay. So it's saying this is the insula, and I was like, that makes sense because it comes inward. It's like an inward, like kind of extension.
I mean, and also if you think about it, so I mean, it does look like an I, or also looks like an S. So like goes in, and then there's an S of insula.
True. Yeah. Yes. Cool. So that's the insula right here, and we'll talk about it more in a second. Okay, so telling you what all the lobes do. So frontal lobe is like, I don't know, I feel like frontal lobe makes sense. So this is planning, judgment, like kind of thoughts, your personality, and yes, and we know it's motor. Parietal, okay, parietal is, damn, I wish I had my video on, but parietal is like on the sides of your head. So yeah, sides and upper, so helping you understand like where you are in the environment, understanding sensory information, general sensory, understanding sensory. Occipital, okay, I don't know if you guys have also known, it's like you have like a color, you have your eyes, oh my god, this is terrible, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, it goes like to the very back of your brain to be processed, or like, and then it also like fucking flips your vision. So it's processed in the very back of your brain, and then it's also flipped upside down in the back of your brain, and then flipped back forward. So visual input at the very back, and memories. Temporal lobes, your temples, so that's language, emotion, and smell. We'll just see that. And then the insula is memory and sense of taste. So this is the insula. So memory and taste.
Insula is a lobe?
No, I think it's just giving it its own part. It kind of makes sense because it like comes inward. So yeah, just to kind of, just because they all do different things, it's just saying the different things they do. And the insula is its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know like if it was a lobe. I was like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I mean, you don't call it a lobe, but yeah, it just has different functions than all of the other parts. Okay, so yes. Okay, we will go through all of these things. So frontal lobe has, let me see, primary motor cortex. So yeah, so you need to remember like that is primary, meaning like, I don't know, primary. It's just like the first thing you see that separates it.
Got it.
So primary motor cortex, this is primary sensory cortex. And then the premotor cortex, pre meaning like before. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, so it's right next to the primary motor cortex. Okay, we'll see it in a second. Somatosensory association, and then see again. So like the very back is primary visual cortex, and then this one is association. Okay. This one is just weird for reasons. This is primary auditory meaning hearing, and then auditory association. So association or like kind of supplemental areas are just right next to the primary areas. Okay, this is your sense of smell right here, and then this is taste. So taste is like inward more, yes, in the insula. Okay. Okay, so we'll see it. So motor areas control voluntary motor functions. Sensory areas are conscious awareness of sensations. Association areas help to process and interpret all of these sensory or motor inputs or outputs. So yeah, so just further processing in association areas. Okay, this is a picture. No. Okay. So this one, so this is, yeah, these are all good. So this is describing everything in the motor areas in the frontal lobe. So you have the primary motor cortex, primary motor cortex, voluntary skeletal muscle control. Frontal eye vision, that one is what? Okay, that is right there. Just like a little bit lower. Yes, so muscles for eye movement. Yes, okay. And then there is also the motor speech area, or Broca's area. So muscles used in speech. Left lobe. That's just fun to know, and I do not know if she would ask that, but yeah, that one's kind of left-sided. So this one, I feel like I remember. So if these are the three major things, and we know what this one is because it just separates down the central gyrus.
Yes.
Then your eyes are like up here, and your mouth is right here. So I'm like, the eyes are just higher. The eye association area is higher than the like verbal motor control. Yeah. Cool. So yes, and all of these are motor. So yeah, so if you know this is eyes, and obviously it's motor movement for the eyes. And then this is Broca's area, or the speech area. So just how you like use your tongue, and yeah, in order to like produce sounds, language.
So I got to just make sure something, sorry, just because I did get confused. Not on the picture, but I just want to say, so the cerebrum, we're looking at like how we already said, like the frontal lobe does do motor area, and then in the parietal does sensory, and then we're talking about other things about the cerebrum, right? That's
yes.
basically,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So I like these ones because it's like separating them into two. So you could just like, no, frontal lobe is motor. I like how you could just separate them into the lobes and be like, it does this.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, this means nothing. This is what you're able to move most and like less. Yes. Okay. So these are the sensory areas. Okay, so it's also adding in the occipital lobe in the sensory area because it's parietal and occipital. Oh no, not again. Parietal?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And occipital. Because yeah, vision is a sense too. Okay, so this one, okay, let me see, where is this one is the other one, or like in the occipital region. Anything else? Let me see. Okay, yeah. So we know the primary somatosensory cortex is going to be the whole first part right here.
Yes.
We know where that one is. It's easy to find. Primary visual cortex. So let's see. So visual. No, just kidding. Visual was back here because we know vision is processed in the back. Okay. Auditory, olfactory, and gustatory are all right here. Gustatory, tell me what that is. Gustatory is taste. Taste.
Gust. Okay.
Olfactory or olfaction is smell. And then taste and smell, and what is this? Auditory are all like right here. So let's see. So we know the insula is the one that has the taste. So insula is, so that, was it called primary? Yeah, so this is primary gustatory cortex. Okay, and then we have these two. So this one smell, and this one is auditory. So again, I would just like, kind of think of it in terms of like your face. So smell, nose, this is a nose, and no, hearing, this is an ear. Boop, boop. Okay, that was weird. But yeah, so the nose is kind of more forward. So I think of that one like it's just a little bit closer to the anterior portion of the brain. And then auditory is also right there, and also like these are right by your ears too, like if you kind of touch like that part of like where your brain is. So yeah.
So sensory area, the one, so it's also parietal and occipital and temporal, isn't it? Like that's where the sensory seems to be at, or
yes, yeah, oh yeah, and this is temporal too. Yeah, so the only one that is motor is the frontal.
Got it.
That's just everything in the front. There's no other ones around there. Okay. So yes, so those are all of the sensory areas. So just kind of go over it and make it make sense of the placement. The insula, we know is taste, it's inward. So that one's like out of the way when we try and label it. This one, we know it's olfactory and like hearing right next to each other. So just place them in terms of your actual body, and then you could remember that one too. Okay. Yes. Okay. And then all of the association areas. Okay, so we do go to the premotor cortex. So premotor, pre meaning before, so it's right in front of the primary motor cortex right there.
Yes.
Okay, and that is association, so that is actually coordinated learning, skilled motor activities. So it's like, let's see how it describes the first one. Pre-central drives voluntary control of skeletal muscles. So just saying, so kind of primitive, kind of like just can you move your body is like the primary motor areas. And then premotor, these are association areas, which just like kind of fine tune these things. Somatosensory association, so that one also, this is the primary, and then association is just right next to it. So understanding the objects producing stimulus. So understanding like, oh, this has this texture, this has this shape by touching it, stuff like that. And again, so it's like the primary one is like, can you feel things? It's just like feeling. And then this one is like, oh, but what is this feeling? So, visual association, this is facial recognition. So movement, recognizing movement, recognizing color, that kind of thing. And can you see? Yeah, okay. And then auditory association. Okay, so this one's majorly next to the auditory part right there. So you can kind of tell that too if you remember that there's like a there's an auditory association area. There isn't a olfactory or a smelling association area. This one is like touching the whole thing. This one's like barely touching it. Okay. Okay. Memories of sounds and music. Okay. No association areas for smell or taste. Yeah.
Sorry, okay, so then the green area was for the visual association, correct? And then the lighter neon green is more the auditory association, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Right next to where the vision is. We know vision is in the back. We know that hearing is like something that you need to interpret more, so it has both of these in it.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So then there's Wernicke's area. So two more association areas. Wernicke's area, let me see. Okay, it's just like this whole general thing. So this is recognizing spoken language. So this is interpreting. So this is still kind of sensory, which is like it's in the bag. So interpreting language that you like to hear. Okay. So Wernicke's area is understanding the spoken language. And then the Gnostic area is integrating all of the sensory input to produce an understanding of the current activity. So this is like just one area. It's like signified by just like a circle. So it's like that is where everything is being processed all into one thing. Okay. Yes, so that is all of the association areas and the like parts of the brain and kind of what they do. So we can fumble through labeling it after. Yeah, let's just finish this. Okay.
So we're skipping Gnostic area for now? Okay.
What was it?
We're skipping Gnostic area for now?
I said Gnostic area. That's so you have Wernicke's area is like around it. And then like this one, like it's only like a circle. It's like it's not like a whole like jumbled mess.
Oh.
So I kind of see it's like centered, and this is interpretation of everything into a coherent whole.
Okay.
So this is interpreting everything. Like, oh, this is what's happening.
Got it. Okay.
Like, this is my smell of the situation, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cerebral white matter. Okay. So will this tell me everything on here? Okay. So association tracts kind of connect parts of the brain. So you have association tracts within the same hemisphere. So meaning, and the hemispheres are like, so if you're looking at the top of a brain, yes, that is a brain. This is a hemisphere. And then this is a hemisphere. So that's left and right side. Oh, what the hell? A 2. Okay. So arcuate fibers are in the same lobe, and we know the lobes are like frontal, parietal, stuff like that. And then longitudinal, long, they are in different lobes. Okay. And then let's see. So then you'll have commissural tracts, which will actually go across the brain to both hemispheres. Yeah, left and right hemisphere. It's called the corpus callosum. Projection tracts are projecting, so like going up and down into the lower brain. Oh shit. I think that this was in it, but honestly, does anyone know what she said about this?
No.
I don't even know how to say that word.
Decussy? I don't know.
Decussy? Yeah, no, sure. Okay, but contralateralization. I don't know. We'll see if it's in the. Okay, yeah. There's nothing else on it, so we'll see if it's in.
So I did get confused. Okay, so association tracks, we do know they're in the same hemispheres, right? So like they're we're trying to get information from like within the same hemisphere, or arcuate fibers there to the same lobe, and then longitudinal is just 2 different lobes within the cerebral.
Yes, same hemisphere. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So then here's a picture of it. So the arcuate fibers are all just within one lobe and one hemisphere. Longitudinal ones are going like this, like way across the whole brain. Well, I'm just gonna keep going. So yeah. And then, from here you can see the corpus callosum. This is the corpus callosum. And that one's connecting both hemispheres of the brain. Okay. Oh, this is let's see. Desiccation, I think. So desiccation is how it switches. Okay, and this is what switches. So your brain actually works like this is technically, like when you're looking at it, they usually label it backwards. So this is the right side and this is the left side, because it's like this person's right and left side. So the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. And this is why. Because of the desiccation. I keep wanting to say desiccation. Yeah, not that. So yeah. So the right side controls the left side, and it's because it crosses like this.
So right controls left controls right. Okay.
Yeah. So then when people have strokes, it's like left-sided stroke or right-sided, but like if it's left-sided, then the right side of their body isn't working.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And yeah, so those are the projection tracts. So those are all of those. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now the diencephalon, which has all of the thalamus things. So hypothalamus, epithalamus, and the thalamus. So, okay, we'll see. So the hypothalamus is that just a general thing? Let's see one more time. Hypothalamus, yes, it's just this like general area. Okay, these are chiasms. Oh, this is a pituitary. This is a pineal. And now I don't know the difference between the pituitary and the pineal, but we'll see it in the endocrine lecture, which is next. Okay, so hypothalamus is just all of this right before any of these glands. So this one is actually controlling the autonomic nervous system because it controls the hormones. So it's the president of the endocrine system. So it tells them like, oh, we need this hormone. Regulates body temperature, emotional behavior, also through hormones, hunger and thirst, also through hormones, and sleep-wake cycle, also through hormones. So yeah. So this one is hypothalamus is, they always say, the president of the endocrine system, and yeah, controls like hormone output. Okay. The thalamus, let me see it in this picture again. Let's see, thalamus. Okay, yeah, just this general area. Okay. So receives, okay, this one doesn't really have to do with what's it called? Endocrine functions, so like no hormones really. So this is the thalamus, just in the middle of your brain, kind of near the brain stem kind of part. So this is receiving all of the conscious senses, receives senses, and it filters and relays, and that's in bold, so we should know that. Filters and relays information, okay, because like sensory information is coming up the spinal cord. So it goes here and it filters and relays it to the cortexes or primary cortices, so the sensory ones and the motor ones and the association areas. So yeah, so you have a sensory output like literally on the rest of your body. Haha, that's a hand. And then it comes up through your spinal cord and it meets the thalamus. So it filters that information.
Wait, do that one more time, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry,
let me
I like
body or something. You like the picture?
Yeah.
These are your shoulders, and this is your arm, and this is your hand. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Yay! Okay. And then yeah. So then, like, if like like a fucking raindrop like drops on your finger, you're gonna get that information. It's gonna like go through. It's gonna go through like your spinal cords or your spinal nerves, and then it's gonna go up and through your neck, and then through the brainstem.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing after the brainstem is this thalamus, and then it's gonna like be able to go around the thalamus and outward toward the rest of your cerebrum. So this filters and relays that information. And also it's like if you even like interpret it, because also like sometimes like someone's like, oh, you didn't feel like I touched your fucking, I was gonna say weenus, but I really don't want to, but I already did. Like when they touch like the back of your elbow and they're like, yeah, you can't feel it very well. It's like it does go up here, but it decides like it's not that important.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. Epithalamus is the pineal gland. So this one, pineal gland, is in the back. There's pituitary and pineal. And let me think of my alphabet. No. Okay. I wanted it to work so that pituitary is in the front. Yeah, but it didn't. Pituitary and pineal. Okay. So this one secretes melatonin. And melatonin regulates the circadian rhythm because of melatonin vitamins and stuff. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Brainstem is autonomic functions. This one I remember because like in movies, I think it's like when they fucking need to kill a dog or something, or anyone that they care about, they like go for the base of the brain because that's just like all of those functions that are like your heartbeat and respiratory kind of stuff, and yeah, all of that. So autonomic functions. So I'm sorry.
It's like a mice and men.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No, honestly,
right in the back of the head.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So real.
That was a mercy killing. Okay, that was different.
Yeah.
That's a great example, Desiree.
Thanks. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So yes. Okay. So mesencephalon, which is the midbrain, which is just its own little thing. Pons, medulla oblongata, and they connect the cerebrum. Yes, they connect everything. We'll just end. Okay. It looks gross and weird. Okay. So yeah. So this is also how everything like comes up through, and then this is the thalamus that is interpreting. So the mesencephalon, the midbrain, is just like below the thalamus. It's kind of a weird nothing thing, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Pons are also like two little circular things. I always kind of remember them. It all looks fucking vulgar, but it's fine. And then the medulla oblongata has like all of these nerves connected to it, which we'll see. So yeah, so pons, medulla, midbrain, mesencephalon. Okay, so the midbrain, okay, superior portion of the brainstem. Yeah, it's like the one connecting to the thalamus. So sensory and motor tracts connect brain and spinal cord. Autonomic functions, literally like nothingness. Okay, sensory and motor tracts connect brain to spinal cord. Yep, because all of them are just like coming through here, either way. Okay, so autonomic functions. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is also midbrain. Okay, so this is where they're like superior and inferior colliculi. Okay, this one is a thing that exists.
Sorry, you're trying
Cerebral pendicles are descending motor axons. So these are reflexes. So these are reflex centers. So superior is the visual one, eyeball, and inferior is auditory. Okay. Auditory, let me see, I'm like trying to make it make sense for me too. Either way, like if I'm thinking superior or inferior or also like anterior and posterior, I'll just think about it the same way, because your eyes are more in front of your ears. So superior and inferior, visual and auditory. So these are reflexes, and this is still the midbrain. Motor reflexes.
Sorry, can you just explain again, what does it mean to be autonomic? Like an autonomic function?
Autonomic is like automatic things, so things that you don't control. So this is like heart rate, like things you don't need to think about to control. So oh my god, heart rate.
Your intestines moving food.
Yeah, exactly. Blood vessels, intestines, and like digestion also. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yes. This is nothing. Okay. Pons, anterior middle portion. Okay. Yes. Same exact thing. It's just saying, yeah, this is literally all of the same thing. Yes.
Okay.
Autonomic functions. Okay. So the pons actually have, okay, middle cerebellar pendicles. I don't know if you guys need to know this for the lab too, maybe. Inferior cerebral pendicles, superior. Okay, they're weird things. I don't think it matters that much, but middle seems to be just like the very middle of it. I don't know. Seems like you can't get that wrong. Okay, connects pons to cerebellum. Okay, and okay, autonomic. So this one has autonomic respiratory centers. So regulating rate and depth of breathing, and then superior olivary complex, sound localization. I don't know what that means. Superior olivary, is that even on here? This is olive. I don't know. This is superior. That's fine, but maybe just know what it means. So olivary complex is sound for reasons.
I think she was circling the whole pons, but so you don't know specifically if it's which one is the autonomic and superior part of it?
No. I don't know if well, also again, it's like she doesn't have a picture of this at the end that you need to know.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So it should be good. But if you just know what it is, like this one, like it's telling me nothing. Middle cerebellar pendicles just connects the pons and the cerebellum.
Okay.
Now we'll see the cerebellum. Okay. Okay, medulla oblongata. I always hear that and I don't know what it is. So let's see. Inferior portion. Okay, continuous with spinal cord. So this is like the actual very bottom of it, and then it turns into the spinal cord. Okay. Autonomic functions. This is a picture I drew of my brother and his girlfriend. Desiccation of the pyramids happens like right here. So, okay, yeah, and it's highlighted now for doing the wrong things. Anyway, for contralateralization. So that is what that means. It's when the motor fibers cross over. Contra means like against, or you could think of it as opposite. Yeah. Contralateralization. So switch the sides. Okay. These ones, so autonomic centers here. Yeah. Heart rate, blood pressure, and respiratory rate. Okay, these are all in bold, so that's cool. So it also has like coughing, sneezing, salivating. These are also just like autonomic functions, so like you don't mean to do. Like sneezing is just like you feel something's in your nose, so like your body automatically wants to like get it out. So yeah. Okay. Yes. Medulla oblongata. Okay. Cerebellum. It's like 10% of the brain. This is the metencephalon. Okay. Cerebellum means like tiny brain. So it's just like fine tuning everything. So fine tuning movements, agility, balance, smoothness. Okay. There's the arbor vitae. I thought that was a part that you should know, but not on here. It has gray matter and white matter also. And it's called arbor vitae because it looks like a tree. Okay, and then cranial nerves. I hate this. You guys just need to study this. Yeah. So 12 of them serve the head and neck, except for the venous nerve. Okay. Yeah, mixed and sensory and motor nerves. Okay, so yes, this is all of them that exist, and they're confusing and evil. And then there's this to remember all of them in order. Once one takes the anatomy final, very great vacations are had. Yeah. And they do go like, yeah. You can't what?
I said I can't wait.
Yeah.
I was like, week 9.
Everything else makes sense. This one takes words. Primary olfactory, smell, because olfaction is smell. Second, optic is vision. Okay, oculomotor, so it's a motor function. So 4 eye muscles. It does nothing else. Trochlear, 1 eye muscle. Trigeminal. Okay. Senses, the head and mouth, and touch on the tongue. Also, chewing muscles. Okay. Abducens, 1 eye muscle. Also, there's 2 of these with 1 eye muscle. These ones are the same, or same thing. Facial. Okay, facial is actually tasting. So at least facial is like more of a human name for it than, what was it? Trigeminal was the other one. So that's actually tasting it, and facial expression. Vestibulocular, ocular or ocular is hearing. And then hearing, also equilibrium is in your ears, and I don't remember why. Something about like fluid. I think it is the cerebral spinal fluid, or I thought it was. I don't know. Glossopharyngeal, like epiglottis, so glaw kind of thing is like throat and stuff, throat and swallowing and stuff. So 1 like throat muscle and touch and taste of the back tongue. Okay, and if it's pharyngeal, and did we see the pharynx already? Did we do all that? Yeah.
We haven't seen the pharynx. I think we just mentioned it already.
Oh, okay. So the pharynx is like, so if, oh my God. Okay, this is, oh my God. This is a mouth, and then it goes up. Okay, I'm literally doing the cavity. So it goes up, and this is the nose, nasal cavity. You have a nose here, and these are your lips. Wow. Okay, yes. And then your throat kind of goes down. So this is like the pharynx is like, yeah, back throat stuff. And it could go up or down, and it has a bunch of different parts. So glossopharyngeal, so it's posterior tongue. Okay, vagus kind of reminds me of visceral because it's V. So visceral, sensory, so like senses of your organs. And okay, pharyngeal and laryngeal muscles. Okay, kind of think of like throw up too. Vagus, I don't know why I'm like GUS, just like seems wrong. I don't know. Okay. Accessory, 2 body muscles. Hypoglossal, tongue muscles. Glosso is still like kind of mouth, or meaning mouth. And yes, so yeah, so that is stupid and evil. So you just need to practice it. Yes. And this is just saying again what everything is. Okay. So that is all of it, and we could label this. Okay. Okay, so this one, oh, actually, okay, let's do this sulcus first. What is this one called? Separating these two.
Central sulcus?
Central sulcus.
Yeah. And I'll write a word. Oh, okay. Okay, so there's a central sulcus. Okay, so then, so what is this one versus this one?
That one would be the prefrontal or the and the post.
This one, okay, this one's
Premotor.
Honestly, I kind of need the names here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, let me see. Actually, okay, I can white out everything. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, no one interpret anything right now. Everything or anything. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have the names of them too.
Yeah.
Or yeah, also it's like some people like ask me questions during the test and they're like, oh, is this the right thing? I don't know. And then I'm like, no, but I don't know if I usually say it because I feel like I can't say it, but I'm like, but it's like elsewhere in your test, like you've already seen the words. So just look back on the answers that she gives you too. There is like fill in the blank stuff and then you forget it. Okay. So yes. Okay. So this one, there's like a major thing. Okay, I'm just gonna say. So this one, primary. So primary, and then do you know the rest of it or?
Somatosensory.
Yeah. Somatosensory. And it's cortex. Okay. So then this one, the blue one.
Primary motor cortex.
Primary, yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Okay, what's this? The blue. This one. No. So it's pulling it open. So this is the one that was located like inward.
That's the insula, and if I'm not mistaken,
the other one's the laterals. No.
Oh yeah, there is something weird in here. I'm just saying taste. Okay, taste and let's see. Insula. Just as primary gustatory. Yeah, I don't know if there's two things in there, but it does two different things. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, so just the insula, and then okay, these ones, either of them, green, and we'll just call it blue. So these are, so all of these are circling. Actually, here, let's do this one. So the very back, what is that?
That's the in the occipital lobe. It's gonna be the goddamn. I forgot.
Yeah,
the primary visual cortex.
Yeah. Yeah, primary visual. Okay, and then okay, so then these ones. So now, like, so this whole slide is sensory and visual. So all these sensory things. So what are two more senses?
Smell.
It's like even if you don't know, yeah.
Smell in the green one, and then the very far right one is gonna be hearing.
Yeah. Hearing. Okay, so then this one is and then what's the word for smell? You know?
Olfactory.
Yeah.
So the green one would be the primary olfactory cortex, and the blue one would be the primary what's the word for hearing?
Auditory.
Primary auditory cortex.
Yes. Oh shit. Insula. Okay, we could also call the insula the primary gustatory. Okay. So yes. So there are all of those things. Okay. So then now that we have, let me see, and we have the primary motor, we have all of the primary areas now. So we could kind of think about the association areas. So what is this green one going to be? Actually, I don't know if it's your name.
That one. Visual association area?
Yeah, we'll just call it whatever for now, and we will go back and find the real name. I think that's about right. Let's see. Fine. Let's see. Wait, no. Okay. Association. Okay, yeah, visual. Okay. So visual association. Okay, what about this one?
It's going to be somatosensory association.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we get the primary ones, the associations are just literally right next to them.
Yeah.
If that's going to the orange one, that should be the primary somatosensory cortex, or the one like where the central sulcus, that is the primary somatosensory. Well, actually, hold on. Oh wait, the green. Yeah. No, the green. That green. Sorry. No, sorry. The one I'm trying to tell you correct is where we put visual association. They're saying that's the perioccipital sulcus, which is the other where you had put primary visual. That is where it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, the little arrows.
Because it's not on the blue technically.
Oh, do we want all the little arrows? Let me see. Okay, so let's see.
It's technically mislabeled, but like we get the idea. Like yeah.
Perioccipital sulcus. So that's saying around the occipital region. So it's saying like it's just additionally separating the parietal and temporal ones. But it's not a region necessarily. So like visual association here. Yeah, visual association and then primary visual. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Let's just zoom in. Okay, so he said, yeah, somatosensory association was good. Okay. This one, this green.
That green one is gonna be the auditory association.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. And then this one.
That is gonna be the wait, so that's the primary motor association motor association.
Yeah, I think this one is like pre-central something. So it's pre-motor.
Pre-motor. Yeah, it has to that one. Oh, that one. Yeah, because when you said like what are we trying to focus? Because there's two parts you can see. Frontal eyelid.
So premotor cortex and then frontal eye field.
Field. Oh, I said eyelid.
Yeah, that was the thing. Okay, and then this one was another thing, and I don't recall what it was. Does anyone?
That purple one?
Yeah.
That's
Broca area.
Oh yes, the speaking.
Motor speech.
These lips. Okay, Broca area. Yes, motor speech. So yeah, and all of this is motor. So this is the eye, vision, upper, and then speech a little bit lower. Yes, those are things. Okay, Wernicke's area is already labeled, but what does it do?
That one is the one that it's interpreting, right?
Mm-hmm. And interpreting what?
Language.
Like the information?
Yeah, language. So spoken things.
Spoken.
Yeah. Yeah, so Wernicke and Broca's area are both like associated with like speaking and language, but yeah, one is actually speaking and the other one is understanding.
Okay.
And then this one?
That one is Gnostic area. It puts everything together.
Yes. Nice. Cool. Yes. Okay. Everything else just makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Those are the things.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
I'm not gonna
yeah,
have fun.
once you get the primary ones, I feel like it's better. Let me see which ones. These ones for me for a second.
The labeling honestly isn't too bad this time around. As long as you can remember the primary, the rest kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so then just practicing too, because like I forgot about this one and this one. But if you remember like what's associated with the motor ones, yeah, so you have your eyes are motor and your mouth. And then the rest is just like everything else. So
yeah, the hardest thing is gonna be the cranial nerves for me.
Oh yeah.
Just no rhyme, no reason, just remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that acronym is pretty cool. All once one takes the yeah, there could probably be a better name for it, but if you can remember that, then it can help.
Yeah.
At least.
But then it's learning what they actually do too. So that was a little pain.
Yeah, that's gonna be killer.
Sorry guys, not my job. It's my job, but no.
We know, Des. You passed it.
Yeah, I think this one's just practice by yourself. Yeah, that is all.
Well, because on that one, she just said like there's a direction on those, so that's why. Like.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so yeah, it's helpful for a lab for sure because they all go like down like this basically. Like this is one. This is one. These are 3. This is probably 4. This is probably 5. Yeah. This together is 5. 6. Yes. Okay. 7. Yes. These are 2 different ones. Okay. Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So that's cool. But then you'll see it on a real fucking brain, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, because everyone's like, oh, we have so much time in lab, but they don't do anything. But definitely like just try and figure it out and look at everything. Yes. We could do a breaky break. But next is spinal cord.
Yeah, we can do that.
Do pee break.
Yeah, I was like, can we do that?
Break? Okay.
There's a small little break, like
small
5 minutes.
Break. Okay, yeah. Okay, so then 5 minutes, and then Andrew, you can also pause the recording. It seems pretty easy.
Sorry, I just came back.
Thank you. Okay. Are we good? Are both of you back?
We are
Maybe.
good.
I think we're good.
Okay. Wait, did Sarah say a thing? Nothing?
Oh, I said we're good.
Cool.
Sorry, hopefully there's not too much background noise. It's just I'm still trying to get as much study session in. I'm not leaving yet. I'm just saying if you hear background noise, it's just because I'm having family come over. So if it gets loud, just let me know and I'll mute.
That's cool. Okay. We'll see. Okay. Spinal cord and spinal nerve. Okay. Spinal cord continues the central nervous system. So yeah, link between brain and the body, because you get the sensory input from literally like these nerves go. They're nerves, and like your brain doesn't have anything specifically that's like going to your body. So all these nerves like connect to your outward body for sensing. So yes, sensory input and motor output. And you have your reflexes, like if you touch something hot and you like immediately like withdraw it. Yeah. Okay. Anatomy of the spinal cord. Okay. Why? Okay. Conus medullaris. Terminal spinal cord at L1. What the fuck is happening, to be honest? Is this not a spinal cord? But fine. Okay. Sure. Okay. Terminal spinal cord at L1 in your lumbar vertebrae. So yeah, so right where your ribs stop is your lumbar. Okay, and then there's cauda equina, I think, comes up. We'll do the test too, so we'll see what kind of stuff would come up.
Oh, okay. So then does the conus medullaris, you just said, it just stops at the age of 4, like it stops growing, like our lumbar?
Yes. Terminal spinal cord. I don't really get it, honestly. I hate this. What does that mean? Why does it look like it's at the top? I do not know. But yeah. Or maybe, I don't know. Or maybe terminal as in like terminal just means end. So like at the top end. So yeah. Okay. So conus medullaris. Okay. So at L1. I don't know. We go on to see more stuff. It's okay though, I think. But I do like I just remember hearing about this because cauda equina is like a horsetail. So you have all of these nerves that come down.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. And then the filum terminal is the final thread. So it goes all the way down your sacrum. Okay. So spinal cord has meninges. So like within your vertebrae, and then your spinal cord is in the very middle. So epidural space, okay, epidural space is in between the bone and like this, what is this? This is the dura mater. It's kind of just like housing the spinal cord here. So epidural, like when women who are pregnant get an epidural in order to give birth. Yes, goes all up in there.
I thought the dura mater was a part of the brain in chapter 15.
Yes, but I think it just does the same thing. Let's see, because dura mater.
Oh, it's just a thing that exists. It's not.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, because it's still it's still the central nervous system kind of thing. Or with it. Let's see. Periosteal layer and a meningeal layer. So you still have meninges in the brain, or in the spinal cord and the brain.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Okay. So you have the dura mater again. So in between, but this one's in between epidural space and subdural space, or let me see, subdural space. No, it's actually just this. Let's see. We have arachnoid matter, which is right here. So we have all that stuff again, and we have the pia matter, which is actually around the thing, and that's the form-fitting kind of thing.
Got it. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so all these same things. Subdural space. Let's see again. Where's the subdural space? Okay, subdural under the first layer of the dura, or actually no, under the dura, because this is the dura, and then subdural space, and this is arachnoid. Subarachnoid space. Like this.
So as it again is like that. Sorry, I just like subarach.
Okay.
I think that is.
I know. I'm trying to interpret this. So this is subarachnoid space with all of the like arachnoid.
Yeah.
So the wide part is subarachnoid. So this is the pad again. So P is the pia mater here, and then A is the arachnoid layer, and then D is the dura mater, and then there's a dura. What is it again? Subdural space. So
okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the dural space was in between the.
Yeah.
Epi.
It's this one. Nah, there's no space in between here. Yeah. Epidural space. Above, epi, above, sub, under. Cool. Yeah. Putting that all together right now. Okay. And then again, the subarachnoid space, it has cerebral spinal fluid. So all up in this space, all this empty space has the cerebral spinal fluid. And the pia mater. Yes. Form fitting. Okay. So there's white matter and gray matter again. This time the white matter is on the outside and the gray matter is on the inside. So just remember that, and also like, you know, if you picture it too, it's like obviously like you can see this is white matter and this is gray. Okay. There's posterior horns. This is an anterior horn. They call this the lateral horn.
Yeah, lateral.
So posterior, even though it has like two parts also, it's just the posterior horn, anterior, lateral. Okay. Gray commissure. I don't know that yet. Lateral fenunculus. I think that's going to be in here, but let's see. Anterior fenunculus, posterior fenunculus. So all these spaces, so lateral meaning the side, so lateral, anterior, posterior. Okay. So these are the parts of the spinal cord, or the gray matter in the spinal cord. So you're gonna have somatic, so you're gonna have sensory stuff again, like the brain. So sensory is in the back, and then motor is in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, and then again, that's like how I was like, okay, sure. Like I put my arms out in front of me and I'm like moving them around. So I'm like, that's motor. You get like a shiver up your spine. I kind of think of it in the back. So yeah. And so somatic versus visceral and autonomic. Both of the autonomic sections are like in between. And these are the actual, let me see, somatic motor and somatic sensory. So like what you're really able to feel, this one's visceral sensory. And this one's autonomic motor. Because also like there's no autonomic sensory per se, but there's still like that visceral like stuff that you're not really aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unaware, and these are like aware. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. And okay, so the posterior roots have the posterior root ganglion, which are the cell bodies that are actually outside. There could be interneurons in between, because we talked about they connect the motor neurons and sensory neurons. And I think it'll talk about that. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So posterior horn contains the axons of the sensory neurons. So if you get an impulse through your body, through your hand, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Body, spine is wavy for a reason. Okay. Oh my God. Anyway, so you get an impulse here, and then like, so a cell body is gonna have to like notice that you get one, and then it's gonna send it up. And then you have the axons then, because axons are like receiving, and dendrites like notice the signal, and then the axons get the signal. So you have axons of the sensory neurons and cell bodies of interneurons, because they're communicating between. So this is, well, you know, this is a whole sensory part, and this is a whole motor part. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, interneurons and axons. Somatic sensory, pain, pressure receptors, visceral sensory, stretch receptors. That's kind of cool. Stretch receptors and smooth muscles. So like, yeah, know when to dilate your blood vessels and stuff like that, or notice if your blood vessels are dilating. Posterior root ganglion contains collection of cell bodies of sensory neurons. Because yeah, so the cell bodies are going to be outward, and then their axons are going to be this way. So those are where the sensory cells are. Posterior, no, never mind. That was posterior root ganglion. The anterior horn has cell bodies of somatic motor neurons. And the lateral horns have cell bodies of autonomic motor neurons. So these ones, both since interneurons are talking to them, and these are like motor things, they're going to have their cell bodies right here that are receiving the signal, and they're going to send it out through axons. Yeah, so yeah. It kind of makes sense why the cell bodies are where they are, and there's no sensory cell bodies in the root. Yeah.
Got it, yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So, and then yeah, so remember like anterior versus lateral, like both of these inner ones are like visceral / auto. Okay. So yeah. Yes. Okay. Gray commissure versus central canal. Okay. Gray commissure, like let's see. I think there was something in the other one that was something commissure like that, but I do not know now. But just the general like connecting area, and central canal. It is in the middle. It is a canal. There are 31 spinal nerves, motor and sensory axons, and they're numbered according to the location with the intervertebral canal. So the first one, so C1 through C7, they have one above. So like a C1 nerve, a C2 nerve, 3, 4 above. And then when you get to actually these are labeling the nerves, because there's no C8 vertebrae. So once there's C8.
Yeah, she said that was labeled, like the C1 is labeled up top, and then the C8 is like that weird one that we label still, but we don't have it.
Yeah. Okay, so C T1 vertebrae, and then C7 vertebrae. Oops, vertebrae. Sure. Anyway, so there's a C8 between these two.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're all under. So yeah, that may be a question of some sort. So yeah. Okay, I don't know what I wrote down there. Sure, spinal nerves, somatic receptors. Oh, okay, yeah, and then the sensory and motor roots come together, and they just form the whole nerve. Yep, they merge into spinal nerves, and then they split. Posterior rami are mixed nerves. Okay, so I guess that is these. I don't know, actually. Wait, anterior rami? Yeah, okay, this is a posterior rami. This is anterior rami. Okay, mixed nerves, posterior body. Oh, okay. Okay, so the posterior rami come out, yeah, through the back, and they innervate the back of your body. Anterior come out to the lateral side and the front, except not that one exactly. I don't know what that is. We don't need to know right now. Yeah, front of your body, inside, and everything else. Okay. Cervical plexus innervates the neck. So yeah. And the phrenic nerve innervates the diaphragm. That is important. We talk about that in EMT too. And then yeah, it's called a C collar when you put them in that thing for the cervical part. Phrenic nerve is here. You don't need to know where it is though, really, because also they're weird and they like mix all of them. So yeah.
Got it. I do have a quick question that I didn't get to ask. Sorry, it's back on the spinal nerves. Like, can you show us where that spinal split was? That's a split.
I don't think it really shows it, except I think that, so I think in this picture, it's supposed to be this, and this kind of, so they come together right here. So that's the spinal nerve coming together. This one, I believe, is a posterior rami. This one's anterior rami. This thing is something that got cut off. Sympathetic ganglion and something else. So yeah, so they just come out of the vertebrae together, and then they go posterior or anterior.
Got it. Okay.
Then the brachial plexus is C5 to T1. C5 to T1. So those are brachials, like brachials are your arms. So upper limbs. Okay, you need to know the 5 terminal branches. So you need to know all these. And then, so I know there's like a question on there that's like, it gives you like a scenario. So it's like, oh, if someone can't feel their posterior, I don't know if there's a more anatomically correct term for your pinky. There is. Is that your 5th metacarpal? I think so. Maybe. Anyway, but it's something like that. And it's like, oh, which one did they mess up, basically? So you kind of need to study this one. So axillary nerve. Axillary is like armpits, but instead it goes to right here.
Oh.
Let me see. They're motor innervations. Okay. Yeah. So your deltoid, and then so median nerve. Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry, for the other one, so we just have to know we have to know both motor innervation and cutaneous innervation, or like which? Because I know, like you said, axillary. Whenever I think of that, I think of like the armpit area, and so I just didn't know like
really line up. But I think more honestly, when I did it, I knew more like the picture.
Okay.
Because I think that they're nearly describing the same thing. Let's see though. It does. Okay, she is circling both of this. So.
Okay.
So the muscles that it's gonna affect are these ones. And cutaneous innervation. Okay, so there's muscles like that are affected, and I think this is just cutaneous. Like I think cutaneous is skin. So you're not gonna feel like this kind of stuff. It's gonna feel weird. So that's the median nerve. meaty part of your hand, maybe, but also the ulnar nerve, I think makes sense. Let's see. So yeah, musculocutaneous nerve. So this is, what bone is on this side?
That should be your radius, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, so that kind of part, lateral side of the forearm. And then also when you think about it, you need the way that he's standing is anatomically correct and stuff. So it's the lateral region of the forearm. Okay. The radial nerve, okay, radial and your radius is like a big bone. So now it is actually working all this. And it is getting the radial side because I know your radius like connects to, I don't know, basically this thumb part side. Yeah. So it's gonna get your whole back of your arm. Yeah, and only the back of your arm. Did you see the front of the arm? We saw kind of the side of the arm. Yeah, they're kind of hard. And then ulnar nerve. Okay, ulna we know is like on the pinky side. So it's just like your pinky and half of that other finger. And that's on the front and back. So yeah, so just kind of go over that kind of stuff.
Got it.
Okay. Intercostal nerves. No plexus, no thoracic plexus. The lumbar plexus innervates, so your lumbar spine kind of stuff. So all your lower spinal parts innervating the abdomen, genitalia, and anterior and medial thigh. So front and middle thigh. And the sacral plexus, okay, because it's like your tailbone. It's on the back. So it gets your posterior thigh and also your pelvis, leg, and foot. So all the lower stuff versus the lumbar only gets like your thighs. And everything else like that's actually in your abdomen. Okay. I have this this popsicle that's like melting right now, so I'm gonna put it in the freezer. Okay. Reflexes are rapid reactions. Yes.
Sorry, so we did go over sacral plexus because I thought we were talking about lumbar.
Yeah, or I was just kind of going back and forth between them. So lumbar, so your lumbar spine versus your sacrum, like at least you can see the bones too. And we know the sacrum is like actually like your butt portion. So lumbar is like your stomach, so it gets your abdomen and your genitalia and just the front and middle thighs. And then the sacral plexus gets like everything lower, so your legs and feet, also the back of your thighs and your pelvis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then also so the sciatic nerve is like a big thing, like people have sciatica and stuff, so that's the main nerve here. And okay, it's the largest and longest nerve, so that's just going to affect all of these things: the pelvis, leg, foot, and posterior thigh. So like lower limb issues.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Okay. Reflexes, so they're rapid, automatic, involuntary reactions due to stimulus. So characteristics, so you get a stimulus, so yeah, something happens like hot, and then a rapid response, hot, like ouch, ouch. And then automatic response. Bruh, no, never mind. These are all just saying characteristics. They're not like in an order. I was thinking for a second. So yeah, it just happens. It happens quickly. It happens without you trying to do it. These literally mean the same things. Automatic response, you don't have to think about it. Involuntary, you can't not really do it. And yeah, it's caused by a stimulus.
Got it.
Okay. Reflex arc is neural wiring of a single reflex. So receptors in the peripheral nervous system go to the central, and then it'll go back to a peripheral effector, because that is how movement works. Sensation, you process it in your brain, and then you're like, I want to do this instead. So then the 5 steps are pretty easy. So you get a receptor on like your skin, like notices something happened. So that's triggered, and then the sensory neurons go to the spinal cord. Okay, and then it's integrated into the brain, and then a motor neuron is kind of like shut off, and then the effector muscle response. So let's see. So this is a receptor that feels something responding. So then something or a signal kind of is sent through the sensory neurons. 3 is integrated, telling us that we want a motor response, and then the motor response is channeled in 4, and then it happens to the effector muscle. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's not bad. That was not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Classifying that ipsilateral and contralateral. Contra always, like contra is against or like fighting against. Because there's a game called Contra that I don't really know about. So ipsilateral, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I get confused on that one, especially when she put that in class. So ipsilateral, like receptor and effector, like how does that? Can you explain an example on that a little bit again?
Yeah, so that one, this is like you touch a hot pan, so with that same arm, you're just gonna like pull it back off, or like or just like anything, like your arm like hits a rose bush and then you get stung and then you pull it away. So it's just like you just need to pull away that same arm or do something with the same one that's getting the response, the sensory information. Contralateral, kind of, it makes sense with both of them. So it's like I drew roller skates, of course. So like you start to slip with one leg, so then your leg that hasn't slipped, you like stand up more on that leg.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like yes.
Okay, that does make sense. Okay.
Okay. Monosynaptic versus polysynaptic. Okay. Sensory axons to motor neurons in monosynaptic. Polysynaptic is interneuron involved. Okay. So sensory to motor. Why?
So we do say that like how you said with the ipsilateral, that one is like if it's hot and we pull it away like the same arm. Is it also then characterized as polysynaptic?
Yes, because it is a withdrawal. I know. I'm trying to make it make sense. Like I don't know exactly. So polysynaptic, I'm just getting that it's like you're doing something and then you fucking like stop doing something. Polysynaptic. But yeah. I don't know how to make both of these facts make sense together. Like how interneurons create a withdrawal reflex, but sensory just to motor instead of using an interneuron is just a quick reflex.
Yeah. Or else like I just didn't know if it meant like that it could have more than one classification or anything.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if she'll give you both. But okay, this is kind of making sense to me now. Knee jerk is like, no, okay, nearly, but I'm like, how are you not like interpreting like, oh, okay, this isn't caused necessarily by a stimulus that's like when the doctor like hits your knee with a thing. I think that would probably be like, I don't know. Oh my god, I hate it. The more I think about it,
no, I'm not sure if this kind of helps make it make sense. I'm still trying to figure it out too. But like with monosynaptic, it more seems like an immediate thing where it's like with the doctor hitting your knee, it just stretches. Like when it says stretch reflex, all your ankle does or all your lower leg does is kick out. However, with the polysynaptic, it's more involved, and so putting your hand on like a hot surface, it's like your brain's like, okay, it's not just stretch the muscle, it's like find a place that's not hot. It's more involved.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, because I was going for like, because I'm like, well, interneurons are like processing like what just happened to me and how do I want to respond? So that makes sense. Yeah, I think knee jerk actually is. It's just like a nerve. It's like,
and that also goes along with like your falling, where it's like trying to balance yourself, a lot different than like covering a cut you just got or something, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, interneurons are like, they. How did I describe it just now? Yeah, they're processing it. So this is like more processing polysynaptic. So A withdrawal reflex monosynaptic is just like a quick reaction. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Oh shit. That's the end. Oh.
Yeah.
This is describing injuries, and that's kind of what she does with the with one of the questions on the test. But if we do the practice one right now, we can try that too. But that is all of this. Do we want to read them? I hate them.
Yeah, let's read them.
Okay, so axillary nerve injury. Okay, I do remember this one. This one's like your deltoid, or it affects your deltoid.
Yes.
So it could be compressed in the axilla or damaged if the neck of the humerus is broken. That's also like right where that is. So difficulty abducting the arm. So abducting is pulling away. Okay. And then anesthesia along supralateral skin. Supro is like higher, lateral, outside. Okay. And I think anesthesia, they just mean like kind of lack of feeling kind of stuff, or maybe also movement. Radial nerve injury. I need to see what it does again. So, okay, so what? Okay, radial nerve is a whole posterior arm with the thumb and just not the pinky. So radial injury by the humeral shaft. Okay, because it goes like all the way up to about there. Or injuries to this lateral elbow causes paralysis of extensor muscles of the forearm and wrist and fingers. Anesthesia along posterior arm. So I feel like it was more of the anesthesia kind of questions. It's like, oh, they can't feel this part. So like, what did they injure? Kind of. So anesthesia along the back of the arm, the forearm, and the part of the hand. And that's like the thumbs and like the 4 digits. Okay. Posterior cord injury, axillary and radial nerves, both of them. Okay. Could be by improper use of crutches. That one's.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. Interesting.
I know. Okay. Let's go back to median because I don't know. So median, okay, is just the anterior, so the palm of your hand on the thumb side, and also like the tips of your fingers on that side too. And what's the next one? It was ulnar. Okay, and then ulnar will be just the opposite of that. So medial nerve could be compressed in carpal tunnel, paralysis of thenar muscle. We don't know what that is, or the lateral lucumbrals. Okay, anesthesia in part of the hand. Okay, can't feel or move part of the hand. Ulnar nerve injury may be injured by a fracture or dislocation of the elbow, which makes sense because the ulna is connected to the olecranon or whatever. Causes paralysis of the most intrinsic hand muscles. Sensory loss on the medial hand. Yes, the pinky side. Okay, superior trunk injury. So injury by excessive separation of neck and shoulders. Any brachial plexus branch that has these nerves affected. Okay, that's probably not going to come up. Inferior trunk injury can be injured if arm excessively abducted. Okay, any brachial plexus branch from these nerves affected to some degree. Okay, the other ones were useful. These ones, I don't get it. Okay, sure.
So the features that she has, like those are just like for reference, right? You don't need to know anything on those.
Yeah, exactly. But these ones, so like literally like not these ones, I don't think she would ask anything like that for the example that I was giving, but all of these injuries are kind of helpful. Just in explaining, like anesthesia along the posterior arm, forearm, part of the hand.
Yes, okay. So then the parts like maybe like, so the posterior cord, like I don't think she would ask that, right? Even though that is like, it's just both of those axillary and radial nerve. Like superior?
No, she would ask the specific ones because those ones they're important. Did you guys do like a little activity thing on it or no?
No, not okay. We haven't done an activity.
Yeah, there's like a little, she gave us just like a blank human thing and she just made us color like these parts, like all of this. So but just know where it kind of goes.
All right, that's no problem.
Yes, and that is everything. And we could do. Okay, is there anything else you want to look at again in either?
I think that's
Okay.
good. But like you said, I think with the classification, oops, sorry, I don't know. The classifications, okay, so ipsilateral is somewhat like the same thing of polycystic